Hey everybody, just got back to the hotel and decontaminated. This is going to be day 14 and 15. Have still been in the new ICU area. Definitely still not set up for an ICU. Busy couple of nights. We have been transferring a lot of patients out from our unit to other hospitals. They say Coney is way, way above capacity. Again, the hospital's only like 320, 330 beds. When I got here, it was pushing 600 patients. So we are way above capacity, but the second we move a patient out, we fill the spot with another one. As many as we can with as many monitors as we have. So still seeing lots and lots of sick people. We've got them trying to go bad on us every time we turn around. We're having to bag patients. It puts us at higher risk anytime we have to do that. Anytime we have to break the circuit on the ventilator, puts us at an even higher risk, than just being here and doing what we're doing anyways. And still shortages on everything. Shortages on pumps, on equipment, on supplies. Having to, of course, we're having to mix our own medicines. Sometimes isn't, too daunting of a task, but when it comes to reconstituting and having to do a lot of the math, especially for me, because we don't have the bag that the medication needs to go in, so we have to split it up, different things like that. So it, just screaming for a med error to happen. So you have to be careful. It's difficult when you are in an emergent situation. You have a patient crashing and you don't have the meds at your fingertips. We've ran into that a couple times over these past 2 days. The medications that are in our crash carts are not all of the meds that we typically have in there due to the shortages. Meds that we're not able to override, things that we're short on, they take out of our Pyxis. So, we're having to run to the pharmacy in the middle of trying to keep this patient from actually coding, to keep them from their heart from stopping. And we're having to run to the pharmacy to get sedation medication and blood pressure medication and paralytics. And then we have to come back and mix it all while this patient's life hangs in the balance. So it is a little bit challenging at times. Having to do things that you wouldn't typically have to do. For example, last night we had a patient that was going downhill, and we were having to emergently intubate him, put in, throw in a central line real quick. And we were out of suction setups. We didn't have the vacuum suction for the wall. We did not have any suction canisters. We were out of Yonkers on our floor. So, of course, these rooms were doubling up the ICU patients, and the other patient in the room on a ventilator, lots of secretions, but at that very moment, that patient did not need his setup, so we took the vacuum connector from his side and plugged it into our side. And there was an ODE canister and Yonker in the floor from this patient, from the patient that we were intubating. It was his at least, but it was in the floor. Nothing that I would ever normally do in nursing, but we picked it up. We had to wipe it down with alcohol, and we used it. I told a friend of mine that was in there with me that I said, it just makes me feel so bad that these are some of the things we're having to do. And she's like, yeah, but how bad would you have felt had the patient died? And looking at it like that, she's right. We're doing what we have to do to keep these patients alive. So we make do. This is still, they say our ERs are getting a little bit slower, and they are, but it's because EMS is pronouncing more and more patients at home. They're not bringing them in. And so our ER has slowed down some, but not in a good way. So I've been seeing a lot of conspiracy theories and everything on Facebook. Everything's fixing to open back up. So I expect us to have a lot of sick people, a lot more. We're seeing more and more people out in New York. We're hitting a little bit of traffic in the mornings, seeing more people out in Times Square. Not everybody's wearing a mask. Still not social distancing everywhere. And it's, when you see it firsthand, it's just easier to believe. I thank God that my family, I'm from a more rural area. We don't have the crowding of population that, has caused such a problem here. But it's still deadly, and it's dangerous, and it's so contagious. I just can't believe the people that still say this is not real. So I really stress to everybody, just because everything is back open does not mean everybody go to Walmart, or think smart. And if you ever see a family member go through this, but you won't see the family member go through this because you're not allowed at the hospital. Your family member will die alone. Maybe with us in the room, maybe not. But you definitely won't be in the room. So it's a tough pill to swallow. So I will keep you updated, and in the meantime, just stay safe, and for the love of God, try to stay home.